morning everyone. Myself Gayatri Agarkar. I am going to improve introduction and Mini-Ratnas and Maharatnas topics.
Myself Bushra Silvan and I am going to explain features of economic policy of 1991.
Myself Harshada Pise, I am going to explain liberalization and measures taken for liberalization.
Myself Nivisha, I am going to tackle for privatizations and measures taken for privatization.
Hello, myself Ms. Aksa Ibrahim Tambe. I am going to explain globalization and measures taken for globalization.
I am Ms. Unisha Dalras Pangarkar, presenting the last topic, that is evolution of economic policy since 1991. Good morning to all my wonderful friends. This is Gayatri Gunagarkar and today me and my team is going to present presentation on lesson number 9, Economic Policies of India since 1991. So let's start. Economic Policies of India since 1991. Before we start the introduction, what was happened before 1991, we should see some conditions what were happened before 1990s. Whenever India got independence, India faced a lot of economic crisis. Whenever India got independence from Britishers in 1947, India's economy slowed down to great extent. Whenever India's economy slowed down, India adopted 5 years plan in 1951. Later down, it continued for some years. Then India-Pakistan war took place, which led to great slowdown in economy. In 1962, India-China war took place, which has a great extent slowdown in Indian economy. Due to this, the government expenditure was more than its revenue expenditure. Revenue means day-to-day expenses, while government expenditure, because the government has to face more investment on the defense expenditure. Defense means on military and all purposes. Then annual rate of inflation reached to 16.7% in 1991. Annual inflation means general rise in general price level. Then work in decline, socialistic pattern. Socialistic pattern is obtaining profit, but not profit, private profit, but social gain. Means this social gain, where to achieve social gain was on verge of decline than to achieve private gain. Before we understood privatization, liberalization and globalization, how these three concepts, that is new economic policies introduced, we will understand it. New economic policies means whenever India got independence, that time जेव्हा आपल्या भारतामध्ये ब्रिटिशांचं राज्य होतं तेव्हा भारताला खूप आर्थिक India faced lots of economic crises. Liberalization, privatization and globalization हे तीन concepts इंडियामध्ये under the आता मी तुम्हाला जसं मगाशी सांगितलं, गव्हर्नमेंट एक्सपेंडिचर हा डिफेन्स एक्सपेंडिचर खूप जास्त होता. त्यामुळे जेव्हा ड्यू टू मनमोहन सिंग, the former prime minister, finance minister of India, went to IMF, International Monetary Fund, to take a loan. But International Monetary Fund refused it to take the loan. Because of India's expenditure was more and India was not capable to do import services because of the financial losses and conditions. So they refused. So Finance Minister of India, Manmohan Singh, introduced the three concepts: liberalization, privatization and globalization. My friends will explain it. So now let's move to the objectives of economic policies. First objective is to plunge the Indian economy in the era of globalization. The economist Iyer has said globalization means expansion of economic activities across the boundaries. To plunge the Indian economy means there should be no difference between foreign exchange and Indian goods. Means all the globalization means all the transferring should be correct. to bring down the rate of inflation. Inflation means the rise in general price level. To bring that price low. To correct the disequilibrium in the balance of payments. Disequilibrium means to maintain the balance between the payments and demand, demands and supply. What is demand and what is supply? We will understand it by drawing a graph. For example, if I go to market, for example in DMart, I like blueberries much, so I want to buy it. But same quality, same price. But if I buy the blueberries at low price, if I price the blueberries at low price, then obviously I will buy more price, more quantity. If in one shop the blueberries is for 10 rupees two dozen, and if in one shop it is for 5 kg to 5 rupees 2 dozen, then if obviously I will buy in the second shop because lower the price, much the quantity. So here lower the price, much the quantity. And it is totally opposite for the sellers. Sellers means the producers. Who produces? Means for the farmers. Farmers see the prices, means increase in the prices. For if the price increases, he will increase his demand because because he want to earn profit, means he want to get monetary profit. If he get monetary profit, obviously he will increase his supply. If more the price, more the supply. Means there should be increase in the supply. The point at which it intersects, it is called as equilibrium price. Equilibrium price refers to the market price which I buy it. This is the balance of the payment. If in the certain economic transaction, if the demand increases, then this graph will shift here, and it will become here. Means the demand is more but the supply is less. And if it is certain prices, if the supply increases, then the price will also increases. Then it will move to this point. Means how it was equal at the first point, it will also equal to the second point. Means there is balance in the demand as well as supply. The third point is to higher economic growth rate. How we can acquire higher economic growth rate? The best and the finest example is the encouragement of the small sectors. Small sector means the MSMSI, means marginal small medium scale industries. It is the most finest example because the output is more than the capital which is introduced in the business. Capital means the amount introduced in the business by the owner. म्हणजेच जर एखादे स्मॉल स्केल इंडस्ट्रीज म्हणजे सपोज आपल्या खेडमध्ये लक्ष्मी मसाले जशी जी इंडस्ट्री आहे त्या इंडस्ट्रीमध्ये ती स्मॉल स्केल इंडस्ट्री, नॉट अ बिग बट स्मॉल, त्याच्यामध्ये कॅपिटल इंट्रोड्यूस केलेला तो कमी आहे पण त्याचं आउटपुट खूप जास्त आहे. तो मसाला आता खूप फेमस आहे. Means it can be acquired by the small scale industries. In the present condition, the encouragement has take place at a large scale. It has grown from 1 crore to 5 crores to build sufficient foreign exchange reserves. Foreign exchange reserves are used to, when these foreign exchange reserves are used at a time when the India faces or any other country faces national problems, economic problems. In this COVID-19 period, India must also have used the foreign exchange reserves. The foreign exchange reserves as per the current scenario is 590.159 US dollar. Then to achieve economic stabilization and reduce fiscal deficit. What's fiscal deficit? Fiscal deficit means total expenditure minus total revenue. Means भारताचा जो काही एक्सपेंडिचर आहे त्यातलं रेव्हेन्यू म्हणजे एक्सपेंडिचर मायनस रेव्हेन्यू इज वी गेट द फिस्कल डिफिट. अवर करंट finance minister Nirmala Sitharaman has introduced paperless budget for 2020-21. In this, she introduced the point about fiscal deficit. She introduced that According to 2020-21, the fiscal deficit is 6.9%, and the target to achieve a stable fiscal deficit is to 4.5 in 2025 to 2026. So fiscal deficit also leads to the economic stabilization. Then to establish international trade relations for free goods of supply, free goods without any restrictions, means foreign countries accepts only foreign currencies. जर फॉरेन करन्सीज जर इन्क्रीज झाले आपल्या इंडियामध्ये तर आपल्याला इम्पोर्ट आणि एक्सपोर्ट करायला खूप सोपं होईल. नंतर टू इन्क्रीज पार्टिसिपेशन इन प्रायव्हेट सेक्टर. प्रायव्हेट सेक्टर हॅव मच क्वालिटीज, गुड क्वांटिटीज. If it is increased, then we will get these are the objectives of economic policies. So I will now call my friend Bushra to continue the session.
Thank you, Gayatri. Now I would like to explain the features of economic policy of 1991. Now, before the economic policy of 1991, if you had to create any company, if you had to grow any industry, then we required license. Now, after the economic policy of 1991, the first feature was e-licensing. That means abolition of government license to require any business or industrial activity. Then all industries except 18 industries required license. From that 18 industries, we need only 4. Their government had done compulsory for 4 industries. First was electronic, aerospace and defense equipment. Now here we can see various equipments of defense. So this required license. Then second one was industrial explosives. Explosives is a substance which is made to explode, like bombs and all. Then third one was hazardous chemicals, drugs and pharmaceuticals. Pharmaceuticals is extremely related to drugs. Then fourth one was cigarette. You might be knowing cigarette. Be aware, you need license. Okay. Then abolition of monopolies and restrictive trade practices. Now it was done compulsory for large industrial houses to take the approval from central government of India, and this resulted in slow growth, but it also encouraged the industrial growth. Then third one was encouragement to small sector, as Gayatri explained that to attain higher growth rate in output, employment, export sector. Then investment was increased from 1 crore to 5 crore. Then encouraging foreign investment. Foreign direct investment is when company takes controlling ownership in business entity in another country. Now it was 51%, then it was raised to 74%, and again it was raised to 100% for specific industries. Then reducing role of public sector. Now their government made some changes in public sector. First was ending state monopoly. Second one was improving efficiency of public sector, and then to encourage private sector, public sector industries were reduced from 17 to 8. Then from them only 2 industries were there. First is railway, and second one was railway industry and atomic energy. Then trade liberalization. Now trade liberalization is no distinction between industries and foreign industries and domestic industries. Then there were it was also for import licensing, abolishment of import licensing. Abolishment of import licensing. There were 2 zones. First one was special economic zone and agro export zone, that was for agriculture. Then reforms in insurance sector. Now there was act passed, that was IRDA, produced license to private company. IRDA produced license to private company to encourage private company. And then last feature is reforms in financial sector. Then before only public banks and the financial sector, it was taken to reform the banking system, capital market, etc. Now the government has permitted private banks and foreign banks to investment for foreign direct investment, so that we can invest amount and we should get. So here are the examples to reform the banking system, capital market, government debt market, foreign exchange market, etc. Thank you. Now I call Harshada.
Harshada, I am going to introduce liberalization. First, we must know what is meant by liberalization. It is one of the components. Liberalization means it is related to freedom. It refers to the economic freedom or freedom for economic decisions. Earlier, government was handling all the things. It means government was interfering in all the matters. But after the new economic policy, the producers, consumers, and the owners of the factors of production got freedom to take decisions. As we have studied earlier in chapter 1 about Adam Smith, the classical economist, he had wrote the book Wealth of Nations. In this, he suggested that economic liberalization is the best economic policy to promote the self-interest, to promote the well-being of people. It means here Adam Smith has given importance to the economic liberalization. Now, economic liberalization is the best economic policy to promote economic growth and well-being of people. Now, economic liberalization, the economic policy which leads to the reduction, if not removal, of the barriers in the working of market mechanism and free competition is called economic liberalization. Now I am going to explain measures taken for liberalization. Flexibility of interest rate. Under this policy, commercial banks was given the right to determine the rate of interest depending upon the market policies of demand and supply. If this is commercial bank. They were given right to increase the rate. If the demand and supply is increased, they can increase the rate of interest. And if the demand and supply decreases, they have a right to decrease it. Freedom for expansion of industries. Industries were diversified. For the production capacity and reduce the production. Government used to fix the maximum limit of production capacity. No industries could go beyond that production. Now after NEP, it was industries. After NEP, industries were given the right to determine the production limit. Abolition of monopolies and restrictive trade practices. According to the MRTP means Monopolies and Restrictive Trade Practices Act on 1962, companies having assets rupees 100 crores and more than 100 crores were classified as MRTP firms. These MRTP firms were given right after NEP, means New Economic Policy, to take their own decisions regarding investments. FERA, reforms in FERA. FERA was replaced by FEMA. It is to FERA means Foreign Exchange Reform Regulation Act, and FEMA means Foreign Exchange Management Act. FERA was in FERA some changes were made and it was replaced by FEMA. Investment in infrastructure. Infrastructure was open to all, means domestic as well as foreign investors. They could invest in rail, roads, and power projects. This could increase our economic growth. Encouragement to foreign technology. The liberalization allowed the high priorities in the industries. A SEBI Securities and Exchange Board of meeting. It was established on 12th April 1992. It was used to protect the interest of investors on in securities markets, to regulate the securities markets, and to develop some policies. SEBI was formed. Thank you. I request you, Mr.
Thank you, Harshada. Good morning. Myself, Nisha. Today I am one of a teammate of a team Gayatri. Today I am introduced about privatization. Can anyone tell me about what is privatization? Well, I will explain it. Privatization, it means transfer of ownership from one sector to another sector. It is means management and control the ownership from private sector, public sector to private sector. म्हणजे काय? सुरुवातीला काय होतं? गव्हर्नमेंटच्या अंडर खूप जण काम करायचे, म्हणजे गव्हर्नमेंटच्या हाताखाली बरेच जण काम करायचे. प्रायव्हेट सेक्टरला जागा इथे कुठेतरी थोडी असायची. पण ह्याचं काय झालं, गव्हर्नमेंटच्या हाताखाली काम करायचं त्याच्यामुळे काय झालं, आउटपुट इंडियाला पाहिजे तसा मिळाला नाही. गव्हर्नमेंट असल्यामुळे काय झालं की बरेच जण असं करायचे, 2 दिवसाचं काम 4 दिवसात ढकलायचे, किंवा आज काम केलं काय नाही केलं काय, सॅलरी तर मिळणारच आहे म्हणून असं काम करायचीच नाही. त्याच्यामुळे इंडियाला आउटपुट मिळायचं. ह्याच्यामुळे आपला वर्क हा डिले होत गेला आणि आपल्या इंडियाचं प्रोडक्शन हे डिक्रीज झालं. प्रोडक्शन डिक्रीज झाल्यामुळे आपल्या इंडियाचं करप्शन हे वाढत गेलं. करप्शन हे वाढत गेल्यामुळे आपल्या होल इकॉनॉमीवरती इम्पॅक्ट पडला. याचं मिनिंग काय, आपली इंडिया ही फायनान्शियली रिड्यूस झाली. आपल्या इंडियाला आउटपुट मिळालं नाही, हळूहळू इंडिया कमी झाली. त्याच्यामुळे इंडियाचं फायनान्शियल वर्क हे कमी होत गेलं. ह्याच्यामुळे इंडियाला काय झालं, IMF कडे आपल्या फायनान्शियल प्रॉब्लेमसाठी त्याला मदतीची गरज वाटली. IMF म्हणजे काय, इंटरनॅशनल मॉनिटरी फंड. IMF म्हणजे इंटरनॅशनल मॉनिटरी फंड, म्हणजे आपल्याला कुठल्याही नेशन जो असेल आपल्या इंडियामध्ये, त्या नेशनला कधीही फायनान्शियल गरज वाटली तर आपला नेशन कुठलाही तर त्याच्याकडे हेल्प घेऊ शकतो. पण कधी जर आपला नेशन हा त्या IMFचा मेंबर असेल तर नंतर IMFच्या याच्याकडे आपली मदत मागून झाल्यानंतर आपल्या गव्हर्नमेंटला कळलं की हे गव्हर्नमेंटच्या अंडर काम करून उपयोग नाही, तर प्रायव्हेटायझेशन वाढवलं पाहिजे. तर हळूहळू आता प्रायव्हेटायझेशन एवढं वाढलं की गव्हर्नमेंट सेक्टर अजिबात दिसत नाही, आणि प्रायव्हेट सेक्टर ह्याचं गुड एक्झाम्पल म्हणजे आपली स्कूल. म्हणजे प्रायव्हेटायझेशन इतकं सेक्टर वाढलं की आउटपुट आपल्या स्कूलमध्ये इतकं चांगलं मिळतंय की जेवढं नॉलेज आपल्याला मिळते इथे तेवढं नॉलेज गव्हर्नमेंट सेक्टरला अजिबात मिळत नाही, असं इथे म्हटलंय. म्हणजे काय, रिड्यूस द इन्व्हॉल्वमेंट ऑफ पब्लिक सेक्टर अँड इन्क्रीज द इन्व्हॉल्वमेंट ऑफ प्रायव्हेट सेक्टर. इट मीन्स प्रायव्हेटायझेशन. आता आपण बघतोय मेजर्स टेकन फॉर द प्रायव्हेटायझेशन. मेजर फर्स्ट आहे डिसइन्व्हेस्टमेंट. डिसइन्व्हेस्टमेंट इट मीन्स, इन्व्हेस्टमेंट म्हणजे काय, आपण कुठेतरी इन्व्हेस्ट करतो, कारण की आपल्याला कुठेतरी लँड परचेस करायची असेल, परचेस करून आपलं मनी इन्व्हेस्ट करून ठेवतो. कुठे गोल्ड परचेस करायचं तिथे आपला मनी इन्व्हेस्ट करतो. डिसइन्व्हेस्टमेंट म्हणजे त्याच्याबरोबर अपोजिट, म्हणजे आपण जी इन्व्हेस्ट केली ती विथड्रॉ करायची, म्हणजे आपल्याकडे घ्यायचं. कारण हे इथे गरजेचं होतं, कारण पब्लिक सेक्टरमध्ये जेवढे इन्व्हेस्टमेंट केलं त्याच्यामुळे आउटपुट मिळत होता, म्हणून आपण इन्व्हेस्टमेंट प्रायव्हेट सेक्टरकडे केले. म्हणजे सेलिंग ऑफ शेअर, इट इज अ ॲक्ट ऑफ सेलिंग ऑफ शेअर ऑफ पब्लिक सेक्टर टू ट्रान्सफर टू प्रायव्हेट सेक्टर. फॉर एक्झाम्पल इज disinvestments in Maruti, ITDC, hotels, PSLV, etc. सेकंड मेजर आहे डिरिझर्वेशन पॉलिसी. डिरिझर्वेशन पॉलिसी आता इंडस्ट्री सुरुवातीला 1956ला इंडस्ट्री जवळजवळ 17 इंडस्ट्री हा गव्हर्नमेंटच्या हाताखाली काम करायचा, पण नंतर NEP नॅशनल इकॉनॉमिक पॉलिसी ही आली, त्याच्यामुळे ती ग्रॅज्युअली डिक्रीज होत गेली. हळूहळू 8 नंतर हळूहळू 3 अँड देन 2. आता प्रेझेंटली रेल्वे ट्रान्सपोर्ट आणि इकॉनॉमिक ॲटॉमिक एनर्जी ह्या दोनच पब्लिक सेक्टरच्या अंडर काम करतात. त्याच्यानंतर पॉईंट आहे इस्टॅब्लिशमेंट ऑफ BIFR. इस्टॅब्लिशमेंट म्हणजे स्थापना. BIFR म्हणजे काय? बोर्ड ऑफ इंडस्ट्रियल फायनान्शियल रिकन्स्ट्रक्शन. इट इज रिलेटेड टू द सिक पब्लिक सेक्टर. बोर्ड ऑफ इंडस्ट्रियल फायनान्शियल रिकन्स्ट्रक्शन रिलेटेड टू द सिक पब्लिक सेक्टर, कारण 1996ला 188 केसेस होते हे सिक पब्लिक सेक्टरकडून प्रायव्हेट सेक्टरकडे आले ह्या ह्याच्यात, कारण पब्लिक सेक्टरला आउटपुट मिळतच नव्हता, कारण त्याच्यामुळे वर्क करून काहीच फायदा नव्हता. त्याच्यामुळे पब्लिक सेक्टरकडून बरेच जण प्रायव्हेट सेक्टरकडे आले. आता नंतर क्रिएशन ऑफ नॅशनल रिन्युअल बोर्ड NRB. नॅशनल रिन्युअल बोर्ड म्हणजे नॅशनल रिन्युअल बोर्डची आपल्याला गरज होती, कारण पब्लिक सेक्टरला जो झालेला लॉस आहे त्या लॉसमुळे पीपल्स आर फेस टू द प्रॉब्लेम ऑफ अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट अँड पॉवर्टी. ह्या दोघांना पॉवर्टीला आणि अनएम्प्लॉयमेंटला ह्याच्यामुळे प्रॉब्लेमला फेस करावा लागला. अँड धीज अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट अँड पॉवर्टी National Renewal Board to solve these problems. It is a responsibility of solve these problems of unemployment and poverty. Next topic है Navratna status. It is the establishment of select for 9 public sectors on the basis of their performance. It is a Navratna status like IOC, Indian Oil Corporation, नंतर ONGC, Oil and Natural Gas Corporation Limited, HPCL, Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited, BHEL, भारत Heavy Electronical Corporation Limited, BPCL, भारत Petroleum Corporation Limited, IPCL, Indian Petrochemical Corporation Limited, BSNL, विदेश संचार निगम Corporation Limited, NTPC, National Thermal Power Corporation Limited. हे सगळे नवरत्न सेक्टर्स जे आपापल्या बेसिसवरती पुढे आले, म्हणजे कॉम्पिटिशन, म्हणजे हा नवरत्न सेक्टर हे 2 पब्लिक सेक्टर्स एकमेकांना सांगून की हा पुढे जाईल की नाही, म्हणजे असं आपापल्या बेसिसवरती नवरत्न सेक्टर्स हे त्यांच्या परफॉर्मन्सवरती पुढे आलेले आहेत. म्हणजे माझा परफॉर्मन्स ह्याच्यापेक्षा चांगला असेल, आपण पण असं करतो कधी कधी कॉम्पिटिशन आपला ह्याच्यापेक्षा मी चांगलं करेन, ह्याच्यापेक्षा मी आपल्या स्टडीबद्दल पण डिपेंड असतं, त्यापेक्षा मला जायचं अशा बेसिसवरती हे नवरत्न सेक्टर्स पुढे आले. फर्दर पार्ट इज मिनीरत्न आणि महारत्न डिस्कस द गाईड. थँक्यू.
Thank you, Nisha. As Nisha explained about Navratna status, I am going to explain about Maharatnas and Miniratnas. What are Miniratnas and Maharatnas? Which companies are called Miniratnas and Maharatnas? Why they are called? Miniratnas companies are classified into 2 categories, Category 1 and Category 2. While in Category 1, the companies having annual turnover within last 3 years must be 30 crores, and at least in 1 year they should achieve profit of 30 crores and more. म्हणजेच काय, म्हणजे मिनीरत्न कंपनीजमध्ये जे कंपनीज येतात त्या 3 वर्षामध्ये सलग ते प्रॉफिटमध्ये असले पाहिजेत, आणि त्या 3 वर्षांपैकी 1 वर्षामध्ये त्यांचा प्रॉफिट 30 करोड्सच्या वरती असला पाहिजे. आणि कॅटेगरी 2 मध्ये त्या कंपनीज येतात ज्या 3 वर्षामध्ये सलग प्रॉफिटमध्ये असले पाहिजेत, पण त्यांचं प्रॉफिट 30 करोड्सवरती 30 करोड्सपेक्षा जास्त नसलं तरी पण चालतं. म्हणजेच फॉर एक्झाम्पल, आणि मिनीरत्नस कंपनीज म्हणजे आणि महारत्नस कंपनीज म्हणजे ते पब्लिक सेक्टरमध्ये असतात. ते नो प्रायव्हेट सेक्टर कंपनीज आर इन्क्लुडेड इन दिस मिनीरत्नस अँड महारत्नस. नाव सेकंड इज महारत्नस कंपनीज. महारत्न कंपनीज मस्ट बी अ नवरत्न कंपनी. जर ती नवरत्न कंपनी असेल तर तीच महारत्न कंपनी असेल. फॉर एक्झाम्पल IOC, इंडियन ऑइल कॉर्पोरेशन, इट इज अ नवरत्न कंपनी, सो इट कॅन बी फर्दर ट्रान्सफर टू महारत्न कंपनी. आता महारत्न ती कशी होईल, त्याच्यामुळे त्याचं टर्नओव्हर 25,000 करोड्स असलं पाहिजे 3 वर्षामध्ये. त्याचं नेटवर्थ मीन्स द कॅपिटल यू मस्ट बी नोईंग. कॅपिटल मीन्स अमाऊंट इन्व्हेस्टेड इन टू द बिझनेस बाय द बिझनेसमॅन. त्याचं हे 5,000 करोड्स असलं पाहिजे. आणि प्रॉफिट त्याचं 3 वर्षामध्ये सलग प्रॉफिट 5,000 करोड्सच्या वरती एक्सीड झालं पाहिजे. जर हे तिन्ही टर्म्स ती सॅटिस्फाय करत असेल तर ती महारत्ना कंपनीच असेल. आणि मेन म्हणजे ती इंटरनॅशनल कंपनी असायला पाहिजे, म्हणजे त्याचं रनिंग आउट ऑफ इंडिया ॲज वेल ॲज इन इंडिया होत असलं पाहिजे. हे महारत्न कंपनीचे फीचर्स आहेत. आणि हे महारत्नीज कंपनीज आणि मिनीरत्न कंपनीचे कोण सिलेक्ट करतं? इट इज सिलेक्टेड बाय SPSC, CPSC, सेंट्रल पब्लिक सेक्टर एंटरप्राइजेस, सेंट्रल पब्लिक सेक्टर एंटरप्राइजेस. Now I further call Aksha to introduce globalization.
Hello, good morning. Myself, Ms. Akshay Ibrahim Tambe. Today topic allocated to me is globalization and measures taken for globalization. Now you must be thinking that why I have circled this word. The word global means worldwide. The word global means worldwide. Now I will explain you what does actual globalization means. Globalization means a person who is selling his goods and services from one country to another country without any restrictions, without any barrier. Barrier means obstacle, without any barrier. Now my friends has explained you about privatization and liberalization. Privatization and liberalization together means globalization. Globalization was established on 1980. Now we will learn measures taken for globalization. Removal of quantitative restrictions. Due to globalization, whatever restrictions or whatever barrier were there to import and export the goods, like GST is for goods and services tax, like that. Tariff rate is for input and export tax, which has been implemented, that has reduced. Encouragement to foreign capital. Due to globalization, government has opened the foreign investments, like because of globalization, many companies invest in our country. We invest in another country, so that it is open freely without any restrictions. Convertibility of rupee means because of globalization, due to globalization, whatever means like we used to means because of globalization, we used to invest in another country used to invest in our country, but there was a mismatch in currency. Our Indian currency sign is rupee, and another country like US is dollar, Bahrain is dinar, etc. So there was a mismatch between that. So government reduced that problem. Long-term trade policy. Long-term means it was not for the short term, like 2-3 years. It was for the long mid time, like 5-6 years, which government has been reduced. Encouragement to exporters, like through EFMI policy. EFMI means import and export policy. After globalization, whichever problems or barriers were there to import and export, that has been reduced, and in special economic zones, foreign collaboration. Foreign collaboration after globalization, whatever like I said you that we used to invest in another country used to invest in our country. So because of globalization, Indian company and many another companies together collaborate and form a new company, like Maruti and Suzuki. Maruti is an Indian company and Suzuki is a Japanese company. Like V is an UK Vivo. No, sorry. V means Vodafone. Vodafone is an UK-based company, and Idea is an Indian-based company. They both collaborated each other and formed a new company. So thank you. Rest of the topic will explained by Ms. Surusa.
So I am Surisa Pangarkar. I am presenting here the achievements of NEP and the failures. As every coin has its two sides, that is head and tail, and NEP, that is new economic policy, also has its two sides, that is achievement and failures. I know that you all are bored now, but this is last, so please pay attention for 15 minutes. So first we'll go by increase in economic growth rate. Now economic growth rate in before 1991 it was 5%, and in 1991 it was 1.1%, and in 2015 and 16 it was increased to 7.6%. Now here you will think that only 2% it was increased in our countries. These were all problems to increase in the rate of the economic growth rate. Second one is evolution in the IT sector. Now due to revolution in IT sector, due to globalization, as Akshay explained in globalization, so due to globalization there was a revolution in IT sector. Before it, the IT sector was not that good, but after globalization was implemented, the revolution was there in IT sector, and now our software engineers are in great demand in other countries. Then second one is rise in foreign exchange reserve. Now what is foreign exchange reserve? That is leaving our Indian currency, the other currencies like dollars, pounds, dinars, etc. So foreign countries started investing in our countries, due to which reserves get rise up. That is only rise in foreign exchange reserve. And next one is improvement in educational standards. Due to globalization, there was an improvement in educational standard. That it was the students got motivated to go in other countries and study in abroad. That is in abroad they get motivated and they studied in abroad because of some better facilities like scholarship and all. And then it is increase in export. Now at the first time our there was increase in import and export was decrease. But due to globalization, that also export duty price was also not given, due to which our producers were producing and exporting it. Due to it, there is an increase in export. Now diversification of cropping pattern. That is, firstly our farmers were only producing cash crop, that is pulses, cereals, etc. But due to globalization, that now consumerizing, that is a one point. That is what spread of consumerizing means what? Firstly, what were the demands? Firstly, producer used to produce and he used to sell it. But now due to the demand, producer producing. So that is nothing but the spread of consumerism, due to which our globalization, there was a diversification in cropping method. That due to globalization, that was a diversification in cropping method. Then next was solve the problem of scarcity. So before going to the problem of scarcity, I would like to tell you about inflation that Gayatri said. Rise in inflation, that is demand and supply. When the supply is more, and the demand is less, there is no inflation. That is, inflation got decreases. So this problem of scarcity was also solved by globalization. That is, if there is scarcity of the products, so we can import it from other countries. That was all the problem. Now we'll go for failures, which are more important. You should know that failure so that you can overcome it if anybody would be finance minister from you. Lack of self-sufficiency. Now your lack of self-sufficiency is what? That due to globalization, firstly we used to produce and we used to sell it to consumer. Now due to globalization, according to the demand, we are producing and we are selling. So that is a lack of self-sufficiency. Now adverse effect of domestic market. Now, domestic market has adversely affected. Why? Because foreign countries are coming, foreigners companies are coming, and they are big companies according to comparatively to our domestic companies. So their prices are also less. That is, they are cheaper, and comparatively our prices are more. Due to which it is thinking only that you will go and you will go for cheaper price. No one will go for high prices. So our domestic market was adversely affected. Now, effects on poor farmers. By going to this, first we'll go for rural areas were affected. Why they were affected? Because due to different countries came and started investing in our country, they were doing only for IT sectors and for industries. Due to which IT and industries who were there, middle class and upper middle class and high class peoples were there in there. Due to which our poor people got poor, get again poor, and rich people get again richer. Now in agriculture sector, there are also two in that rich farmers. Rich farmers were producing and exporting to other countries. But what about the poor farmers? They were neglected, they were unnoticed. So there was a effects on poor farmers, so they have to sell their land, they have to take other major steps to overcome this. So they were going for poverty problems were there, indebtedness problems were there. Then unhealthy competition. As I said you that it was unhealthy competition. Why? Other companies came, foreign companies came in our India. So our companies, our entrepreneur of the company were cannot face the problem. So it was unhealthy competition. So the only solution for it was that they have to close it or sell it. Neglects welfare aspects. Now, due to privatization, privatization services like education, health, communication, these were all services due to which welfare were neglected here also. So this was also a great problem which we should overcome it also. And last one is unemployment. As I said that we had seen in unhealthy competition that other companies comes, foreign companies comes in our India, and then they cannot compete with each other due to some phases. So now that company has been sold out, it is closed, due to which the workers in that they are removed from the job. So this is unemployment. Now unemployment is created, poverty will be. So everybody's parents says that you should always take government jobs. Why you should take government jobs? Only for this reason, that you have that surety that you will be in that government job, but not in private sector that आज है तो कल नहीं है. So everybody's parents said that you must need मुन्ना हमारा government job ही करेगा. So these were the failures that you should overcome it. Thank you. I hope you had understood it well.
FERA stands for Foreign Exchange Regulation Act, and FEMA stands for Foreign Exchange Management Act. First it was regulation and now it is management. And in FERA some changes were made and it was replaced by FEMA.
These are the zones which are created for agriculture.
Yes, next.
What are the positive effects of LPG on economy of India?
Yes.
Because of economic policies, liberalization, privatization, and globalization, they introduce positive effects like increase in
Yes, next.
fiscal defect, increase in fiscal defect, economic growth rate, and
Don't ask the second question which is economic.
what is the CSR? CSR refers to corporate social responsibility. It is a private business for financial improvement.
Our water. Names of companies under Maharatna and Nilratna status.
As I explained you about Navratnas, the Maharatnas means which companies come under Navratnas are only Maharatnas. As it is not Navratna, it cannot become Maharatna. IOC, Bharat Petroleum Limited are the Maharatnas industries. And in India there are 10 industries in Maharatnas, and while there are 74 industries in Mini Ratnas.
That's what was implemented in the economic policy.
Multinational companies comes in our countries. So due to which our small scale business companies, they are closed down. Due to which there is an unemployment. The workers are removed from the jobs. This is the reason for unemployment.
Do you think globalization was a good step because it has demolished many local industries?
See, every aspect has two effects, as I said. Where there are achievements, there are failures. So globalization के achievements भी है, failures भी है. So what I said, why we are learning failures so that we can overcome it. So that are the failures that further they can overcome it. So the failures are given.
What we should learn from the major failures of our economic policy 1991?
Please repeat. That further we should overcome it by seeing that all failures and achievements. That is the same answer. Correct.
After making sign of globalization, how government provide policy and programs to which people who is unemployed and employed.
Export policy. They had said about privatization, private banks are introduced, and taxes also has reduced, due to which there is a economic growth, that is economic got boosted up.
What are tariff rates?
What?
What are tariff rates?
GST is put for goods and services tax. Like that, tariff rate is a tax that is which it is put in import and export for the goods. It is a tax for goods and import and export.
This team